Borg presents Hate Floats.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
Welcome, episode 2, season 2.
Are you ready for some mall madness?
Yeah, we're back. Apologies for the delay on the early feed.
Mm-hmm. Actually, no, this one comes out on the day. I'm going to edit this and put it up later today. So
nice.
Yeah.
Great.
So thank us for not having a delay.
Well, thank Cole. I tried my hardest to make us have a delay, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, you injured your back on purpose.
Oh man, I only do on perfect. I'm a crisis actor. Or on purpose, not on perfect. What a Freudian slip. I'm sure that doesn't reveal anything about my secret back plans. What's your secret back plans? Back plan. Yeah. This episode was written by Jackson Public. Premiered July 2nd, 2006. And boy, is it good to be in season 2.
It is.
Season 2, feeling good.
Feeling good. Got parody titles, you know? Why not talk about Hate Floats? Why should you? Because we got Monarch trying to get Dr. Girlfriend back, right? You know, I presume that's what that movie is about. It's a romantic comedy, right? What, Hope Floats?
Hope Floats.
Nothing to write home about.
Hope Floats.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get his organization together. He's trying to get his girlfriend. This is one of the episodes that was written together with both Hammer and Public. I think Public has the writing credit in the book, but they did work together.
Yes.
Because they wrote it back to back with the premiere. And they think of these two as kind of a two-parter.
Yes.
Moving us forward, and kind of resetting everything.
Right. And kind of they consider this to be the real premiere of the second season, whereas episode 1 was kind of this reset. This shows things both getting back into motion, but also this establishes the focus on the Monarch as kind of the deuteragonist, right? For lack of a less pretentious word.
Not to sound pretentious, but they do form a dramaturgical dyad.
But I mean, it spends, like the Monarch is not just the one-off, kind of zany villain with a plan, going after Dr. Brisby or whatever. Like the Monarch has a whole motivation and a whole crew and becomes, kind of the A side of this episode for sure. But a lot more. Like season 2 is kind
of the series.
Yeah. Season 2 is really, about the Monarch's conflict with Phantom Limb, right?
Yeah. It's also, I can see them saying that this is the first real episode of season 2 because it's not a tricky gimmick.
Yeah.
So much of the last episode was like weird, which ones are the Venture Brothers? Like they did kind of some goofs, and now they're not fucking around with that.
Right.
Anymore. Very good episode.
Yep.
Not least of which, because of the beginning of this, which is a legend. The beginning of this is something that, when I was trying to get my friends into Venture Brothers, this is a scene to show them.
Dun 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 bum 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 bum
It's so good.
Yeah.
So we have Gary, Henchman 21. He answers the phone in his home. He answers the Atomic Comics Collection Connection, which I think about all the time.
Yeah.
Atomic Comics Collection is so good.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's 24. He had recently reunited with at the support group.
Yep. They had gotten back together, and it's got 24 on, and then the Monarch calls shortly after and is like, oh, let me put you on 3-way. The Monarch is furious with Gary because they actually followed his orders. They destroyed the cocoon. Why is my cocoon destroyed and sideways?
Yeah. He did not expect them to do it correct. We never figure out if he returned the director's cut of Working Girl. So this little scene where they have this, they talk about this on the commentary. They just improvised this whole scene. They were cleaning the Astro base and they were riffing.
Yeah.
So there's a funny note in the commentary. They're like, we just did a version of the scene if it took 3 hours, which is very funny.
Just Monarch criticizing Gary for like, why is this yogurt spoiled in the door of the fridge?
Yeah. Yeah. You can't yell at us for that. You lost the lid. Oh, boss. And he's upset not only because his base is sideways, but there are no henchmen. 21 reveals that most of them went to Monstroso's crew. Second appearance mentioned Monstroso, but not an appearance in Monstroso's lap.
Yes.
And
like 5
the Monarch
there.
puts him to work.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are henchmen again.
To 24 is going to come by and pick up Gary, so that they can get started. I love this detail because it's true. When you be outside, I don't want to have to talk with your mom.
With your mom.
No, like if I'm going to come over and pick you up, like I don't want to be roped into a whole thing,
Yeah, it's very, very good. And then 21 does his suiting up, and he's got, they talk about this in the commentary. I really love this, that like he does have this cool job, and he is like doing, has his closet full of henchman shit, but he has to make all the electronic noises of putting it together.
Yep.
Himself, like with his mouth. And they start singing Holst to the Planets, which, you probably know.
Yeah.
They talk about it on the DVD commentary. They were doing it with the Superman theme. When they did the draft of it, when they were riffing.
Yeah.
But just the idea when 24 shows up, adding the accompaniment with the horn, like, God, is it good? Like, just an incredible fucking moment right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah, well, and I love that it's kind of undercut by like, Gary goes out and gets into the car and his dog follows him. Again, just totally a thing. And that would
Mom,
happen.
call the dog. Yeah.
Just they can't have this one bit of dignity without the actual, without the reality of their situation coming in. That like they're pulling up a Nissan to pick up a henchman in a suburb.
So good. So fucking good. He has this 21 has this huge collection full of nerdy stuff in his closet. They talk about in the commentary how this was stuff that they had around the Astro base that's given to them by Ken Plume, their friend who reviews toys, and just gives them all the runoff.
Pretty good hookup to have.
Great hookup. Yeah, Kenneth Plumey Plume. That guy's nickname.
Is it?
Apparently.
Oh, okay.
Just looking up right now. Plumey. Hey, Plumey.
Okay, yeah. Okay, word. We get our new intro sequence, which is kind of exercised of the awkward animation from the pilot as it was put together. This is not the intro that has, Rusty and JJ running along. This is, the full return. And it's good. Like, it actually kind of fits the show a little bit better. There's like less of a reliance on this kind of Saul Bass aesthetic, although it is still there. Yeah.
It's also a little shorter.
Yeah.
So we cut to the boys. They're waking up in their beds and they're kind of getting like gas and awe, or like gaslighted via shock and awe.
Yeah.
By having it be their birthday.
Yep.
And Brock hands them their ID cards, which are all burned up, which is incredibly good.
Yeah. And Hank's like, hey, wait a minute. This has to be wrong. If this date's correct, we would be 19.
Yeah. It's supposed to be their 16th birthday.
Yeah.
And Dr. Venture just shoots us down, ignores it, fast talks them. This is intercut with 21 recruiting henchmen, giving his sales pitch to a plant, which is 24. Incredibly funny about the world of organized henching. And the idea of like, part of me is like, oh, this is definitely like an early conception of like, gangsters.
Yeah.
Like, kind of the kind of thing I grew up with. The news trying to make me scared of people with pants.
That were lower than yours. Yeah.
If pants be low, trouble below. If pants be high, friend says hi. Yeah. That kind of thing. But the idea of the concept of this, of like having, actual criminals, criminals are fucking scary, and all these guys do is play dress up. So if you just get people who actually straight up shoot people, in this stuff, it's a real mismatch. And like the music they play whenever they pan over them, the exact same beat is so fucking good.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
It is a wonderful mismatch, like highlighted by the fact that, they 23 or 21 says like, oh, you get weapons and they're attracted to this. But like the henchman weapons are dart, just poison darts.
Guns.
They're knockout darts. Right.
Yeah.
And the people that they're recruiting, they've got guns. They have like actual guns, and this becomes a point later on. They're like, oh, why are you using level 5 weaponry for a level 1 threat?
Level 1 threat. Yeah. So good. Guild bureaucracy is so wonderful. 21 and 24 managed to upright the cocoon. And they did it because the new henchmen stole parts from Sergeant Hatred's hover tank. First appearance, Sergeant Hatred's hover tank.
It's cool, but it's broken.
And they're just all hanging around the control room there. 21 and 24 start a conversation like, hey, I think, we've been around for quite a while and these guys are all new. We have seniority. I think we should be number 1 and number 2, or number 2 and number 1. But a new guy has taken number 1.
Yeah. And also taking the crown.
Yeah, just making it his own fucking thing.
Like just rolled in, and just through like sheer just like, no, this place belongs to me. Like if I step into the situation, I'm going to take what I want by force. The Monarch is, just really into the initiative, but is angry that the crown is taken. So
yeah, he does not understand the threat he's under.
Right.
At this point, he assumes everybody lives in the same make-believe world that he lives in.
Yeah.
Which is not even remotely true.
Nope.
So Rusty on 16th birthday, Rusty's got Dean, and Hank has Brock. Rusty is taking Dean to get fitted for his first speed suit. Speed suit is not a real thing.
Nope.
It is a thing, but it's not this. It is a jumpsuit.
Yeah. Don't you bite
Rusty,
your
don't
tongue.
Call it that. Yeah, do not call it that. And this is the beginning of Rusty taking Dean.
Yeah.
Under his wing, and Brock taking Hank.
Right.
When they talk about how they needed to separate the boys for season 2, this is, we get perchance to Dean. We get, all of the season 6 and 7 stuff with Dean going to college.
Yeah.
Him being like miniature Rusty.
Yes.
This is kind of the beginning of that.
And I love the way that it develops, because and it's so it both develops and also is kind of established. Like, Dean isn't into it. Like, they're just kind of like, oh, you're going to give me a shitty jumpsuit. He's not into it the way that Rusty is. Rusty's
like Santa's magic janitor. Like he's not into it.
Yeah. In a speed suit, you say janitor to the world, "Look out! I know what I'm wearing for the rest of my life." And Dean's just like, no. Like, Dean just kind of wants to be a regular boy a little bit at this point,
or like a boy detective. Like he wants to be a different pulp, thing.
Yeah.
Hank is hanging out with Brock. Brock's getting a new caulking gun because Hank broke the old one. Because of course he did, because its caulk guns were shaped like guns and you're a kid.
Yeah, yeah. Like, as an adult, I still will point my caulk gun at something to, make laser noises.
Blam, motherfucker. Damn you.
Yeah.
Get filled in, cracker. Does that work?
Maybe.
That's what caulk does, right?
Yeah, that fills in cracks. Yeah. No, you got it. But as they're shopping, they run into 24 and the new henchman. So like, we're out here. Yeah. Are we ready for this? And no, they're not, because the Monarch has his eyes on a different prize. He is tailing Dr. Girlfriend and Phantom Limb by floating in the massive cocoon above the mall parking lot.
The comedy of the cocoon hiding behind the trees is very good. Yeah. And I love this Dr. Girlfriend like getting the version of what she thinks she wants with how lame Phantom Limb is.
Oh, he's so boring. He's fucking
just incredibly lame.
Yeah. Like, alas, it's very, someone who understands that serration is only needed for bread.
Everyone fucking understands that, man. Yeah. Like he's the same way that he was where he's like, Asiago, a playful little cheese I developed a perchance for. And it's like, that's not a rare cheese, my dude.
He's literally, like, I try to only throw this word around when it is accurate, but it's pretentious. He is pretending to be higher class than he actually is.
He is a low class person's idea of somebody who is high class.
Yeah, like Donald Trump.
Like very similar.
Yeah.
You know, just like you can imagine Donald Trump like being like, oh, I know serrations are for bread knives, throwing that fact out and being like, yeah,
everybody knows
nobody
this.
knows this shit.
Yeah.
It's really deft writing the way they do Phantom Limb as like looking more sophisticated, but being more like shallow and shitty.
It's a tissue paper thin veneer on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good. He's going to throw a dinner party, and Dr. Girlfriend's not into it. She's going to go to the food court to get something to nosh. And the Monarch finds her, and they have their little confrontation.
Right.
You know, he's trying to sell it to her. You know, she knew he was there.
Right.
You know, you have to keep the cocoon out of second gear if you want not to make noise or whatever.
Or if you want the cloaking, the
cloaking system.
Yeah. Well, I love that the first thing that Monarch says, like he's standing there all timidly saying, "I forgive you."
I forgive you.
Yeah. And when she mentions the thing about the cloaking thing, he tries to do the Homer Simpson thing of like, I figured out what I can offer you, total and complete dependence. Because like, oh, I need you back. Like, I don't even know how to run all this stuff. There's just so many buttons.
Yeah. And good for Dr. Girlfriend.
Yeah, for
this
standing.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I was really upset. You threw me out. And if you would have just asked me back, I would have come. But instead you called me a whore and went out chasing Dr. Venture.
Yeah.
You know, you have to grow up. And he at this moment gets interrupted by an emergency transmission from 24 that the Ventures are in the mall.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like a little Cheers-esque thing where he's talking into his Bluetooth, but also talking to her.
Yeah.
It's like a very sitcom-y joke.
Mm-hmm. Where she's trying to have like a
you.
serious, like, let's talk about us kind of thing. And he's like, let's get them. Like, what do you mean, let's get them? You know?
Yeah. She's really upset about this. And she tries to leave, but the Monarch grabs her and flies away on his wings.
Which are shown to be functional now.
Functional wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like in the commentary that they talk about like this was supposed to be like in their head this was going to be much more grandiose than it actually turned out being.
Yeah,
you know, it's just again kind of mundane because like yes he is flying but it's through a mall food court.
He is, and he's singing the song from Superman.
Yes,
as well. So it's like that's they're going for something that they don't quite get.
Right.
The henchmen. The good henchmen, 21, 24, and all the scary henchmen, corner the boys. Brock ends up pushing down the elevator, and I love the fucking cock gun kill.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. just filling with foam.
Just like stabs it up into the guy's like rib cage and then fills him until the cock comes out of his eyes and mouth. Like, there's not enough cock in one of those guns to do that, dude.
Brock could do it.
Yeah, Brock could do it. Yeah. Rusty gets punched by a henchman, and this I probably wouldn't say this is the source of my one of my fears, but I am terrified of being punched so hard that my eye comes out.
Sure.
Happens to Rusty. It's like it's dangling, and I love this the split screen that is shown from Rusty's perspective because his left eye is looking forward and the right eye is looking down. We get to see a shot of Brock being shot and then knocked over. Falling from like one side of the screen into the other because of the two camera angles. Again, very clever, like the intercutting in past tense.
Yeah, very, very, very nice little bit of animation there. Hank tries to knock out one of the henchmen as he's running up the escalator. He says, "You can do it, Duffy Moon," which is from an ABC after-school special.
Yeah.
Which I did not know until I researched it. But this doesn't work. It just bounces off because it's Nerf.
Damn you, Nerf.
Dean's speed suit, the crotch, which his dad had like padded and been like, you should have a good like svelte 7 inches of crotch or something like that. It's very roomy and it's getting pulled in by the escalator.
Yep.
So everything, mall cops show up. This is all just chaos. And the Monarch is distracted. He ends up dropping Dr. Girlfriend and he takes Rusty with him.
Yes.
So
he has taken his hostage and he's prioritized him over Dr. Girlfriend at the very least here. So Brock, having been shot, wakes up in Phantom Limb's house, which is modeled after Frank Lloyd Wright house, the Storer house.
Yeah.
And of course he calls it the Lair of the Phantom, location B for the guild. Pointing around to everything. Phantom Limb has removed the bullet. and then goes into basically just a routine from Hot Shots, like listing all of the other things that he pulled out of him. Just, and also like 3 others: a shark tooth, a twisted paperclip, and a meager handful of buckshot. And I love the line.
Learn how to duck.
Yeah.
I also love Brock responding to this, like, listen, I'm going to feel better here in a moment and kill you. So why don't you just tell me what's going on? And this is where he explains, like, well, no, this is about the Monarch. Like, he's in extremely hot water with the guild. He doesn't have guild sanction at this point. He's using level 5 weaponry against, no offense, a level 1 threat of Dr. Venture. Like, you don't come to Dr. Venture with a pistol.
No.
I'll kill him. You come to him with sleep darts and like traps and schemes, Really nice little bit of continuity here. Phantom Limb speeds up Brock's recovery with this muscle growth accelerator, which is the same one he uses on himself later. Like, this is his science thing. Like, this is where his accident came from and his origin.
Yeah. And Brock, of course, is tired of a cliche, right? He says, what is it with you dicks? The second an experiment goes wrong, you sew yourself a pair of tight pajamas that become a pain in my ass. Like, he's got a point about it. Like, could you be more of a cliche? But also it starts this kind of rapport between Brock and Lim, which feels respect. It feels like an outgrowth a little bit of, back in the trial of the Monarch, when Brock said, in a way, the guild is the only organization that I still respect.
Yeah. It also has shades of Are You There, God? It's Me, Dean, where he's participating in the, where he gives the Monarch a big fight for his birthday.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, Brock puts up a hard shell about, like, not wanting to play with any of this shit. But I think he secretly likes it too. I think the only person who's truly over it is, like, Dean and Dr. Venture.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone else in this world is pretty into it.
Like Monarch is not into it because he is constantly on the shit end of it. But it still is like the only framework in which he can thrive.
Life he can live.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's nothing else.
He doesn't know
for
anything
him.
else.
Yeah.
They started having a discussion about whether Dr. Girlfriend had a sex change operation, talking about surgery scars to put in her bosoms. And they deny that. There's a little thread of that throughout this episode.
Yeah.
Of Brock. This is some of the final appearances of the Dr. Girlfriend. Must be a guy because of the voice.
Yeah, yeah.
Thing that eventually dies, but it dies slow. And these are some of the death rattles of it.
Yes.
And he implies, maybe the reason why Dr. Girlfriend's leaving is because the Monarch has a bigger dick than you.
Right.
Weirdly enough, we do get a good handle on what Phantom Limb's dick is like later.
Do we do? Yeah.
You wouldn't expect it, yeah. But, the alchemist gets himself a prize. Like,
I forgot about that detail.
Yeah. It makes a really weird squish noise, but it's fully like he's holding his hands apart like he's riding a bicycle. Like it's a long member.
His arms and legs weren't the only limbs that were accelerated.
Yeah,
waka waka waka.
It's neat when they show his power too. I forgot about how when he's walking towards the Monarch, he's deflecting the darts with his laser hands.
Yeah,
which is really cool. Like, Phantom Limb is neat. For being such a fucking dick.
Yeah. So the kind of this little section ends when they put together their gear. They put on a guild helicopter belt and then fly off. Brock loves the thing, just like, oh gosh, the single fire. Like, he takes to it immediately, to the toys that they have. Because, OSI doesn't have an awful lot that they give their field agents.
Yeah, which we in the next episode we'll learn, like, they kind of do, but earlier on, or like he's not as into fucking around with that shit.
Right.
When he's like working, like there's like play mode and work mode for Brock.
He respects the helicopter belts like he respects his Dodge Charger.
Yes. Yeah. Dr. Girlfriend took Hank and Dean. She's just kind of stuck. Like, we're still here. Takes Brock's car, which is trapped. In very scary way.
Like a gout of flame fires out from the steering wheel.
Yep.
She knows how to hotwire things because she number 2'd for Trucules back in the day. I'm happy the Trucules never gets like a spotlight episode or anything, because like it's not a concept that could bear any more weight than just the name and the design. But I love that Trucules exists.
I feel like Trucules could have got an episode, man.
Yeah.
They do a lot of episodes for a lot of dudes.
They do.
In this. Trucules could have done it.
Yeah.
There's like 6 episodes of Augustus St. Cloud.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
But
those are Billy episodes. Like,
yeah, which they're not. I don't think Trucules should be the arch villain for Billy. But I love Trucules' turn at the end of the season, or his appearance. But the boys don't know who Dr. Girlfriend is, which at first seems, hinky, but they don't actually interact with her very much.
No.
During this thing, they saw her very briefly when she was like disguised when the Monarch brought Hank back to the room in season 1. When
they were held captive, like the Monarch was the one who interacted with them, right?
Yeah. They saw her very briefly in the trial, probably, but they weren't looking at her.
Yeah,
she was in the back, so they don't really know who she was. And Dean asks if she's their mommy, because Dean kind of asked this about everybody. I feel like,
And also, I mean, it's raising up because again they're dancing around dropping the mommy bomb. And I feel like they want to get Sheila off the list of possibles.
Yes.
Yeah.
She has Hank drive because she says I never drive mad. And Hank, is very nervous about this. This is very adorable. 10 and 2. Very, very funny.
Yeah.
And then they're like, how do you know where he's going? And she says she's tracking the Monarch with a device she planted on him. And the implication is she planted it up his ass with her mouth. And the boys on the commentary love this idea.
Yeah.
Like they're just like way into the idea of supervillain analingus. And I'm shocked by how in love they are with that idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the audacity of putting a joke about rimming into a cartoon on the Cartoon Network.
Not a whole lot of rimming on Cartoon Network.
No, very
like
little.
Johnny Bravo got up to some shit, but like not nearly this much.
Oh fuck. Yeah, but also just the idea that she walks right up to the line of explaining it to the kids, but then backs away from it. I
love that kind of thing. Like, because even though they're 16,
rimming's
it's advanced.
It's advanced. It's a varsity move.
Semi-advanced. The Twitter is going to try to make you, if you're listening to this, kids, Twitter is going to try to make you feel like rimming is just like a 101 level thing. It's not.
I mean, especially
it's okay
back
to think
at
of that as advanced.
Back at this time, I was, I was 18 when this episode came out. And
rim high to a grasshopper.
Fuck, man. Sorry. You caught me off guard with that. That was really good. Even back at the time, it was only something that was whispered about. It wasn't something that was shouted high from the mountaintops of your Twitters and your Tumblrs,
No, absolutely. Like, I remember there's that Chris Rock thing about tossing salad. That's where I think a lot of people learned about it. And then I remember my mom watching like Queer as Folk. Or something like that. And two characters in like a dance club, like very secretively talking about eating ass. And it was just so interesting because like 15 years later, like, it's in half of the Twitter bios that you find. Like the entire like leftist gaming Twitter is like, yeah, of course I eat ass. I do it all the time. And it's so fucking weird. I kind of want to put that genie back in the bottle. Like I don't want to sex shame anybody, but like it felt a little bit more magical when there was something that could be taboo.
Yeah. something that wasn't. I don't know. I'm not gonna step out in the face of repression. It is very strange. It is one of those things that is a weird mismatch between how I came up and what people are comfortable with today. And I have to be.
I wouldn't have bingo carded it. Like if when I was like 20, they're just like, hey, did you know that in 20 years, like this is just gonna be real common. People are gonna talk about it all the time. You're gonna talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, no, I don't know that. Fuck.
No, I probably would not have placed that bet. It's probably fine. Less shame in the world. Probably good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't think anything consenting adults do. Yeah. It's just funny that it has become this like badge of honor. Like I have read more tweets that are you think this and you don't even eat ass.
Yeah.
And like I've read a bunch of tweets that have that cadence in it. Like it's a metric you have to clear.
Yeah.
You
old cowards don't even eat ass. Yeah.
Yeah. You must be at least this sexually adventurous to ride. So I don't know. But anyway, so the Dr. Girlfriend stuck a tracking device up the Monarch's ass with her tongue, is what the Venture Brothers is teaching us now.
Yeah.
So we go back to the cocoon, and the fake henchmen have taken over the cocoon with their real guns. And throw the Monarch and the henchman in the cell with Rusty. Like everyone's in jail. Rusty has his eye bandaged up. They stuck it back in.
It's so good. But yeah, and the Monarch like finally has a chance. Like he's in the same room with Dr. Venture, and Dr. Venture's like, why in the world are you why are you constantly a pain in my ass? And Monarch doesn't even he doesn't have even just the opportunity. Like he won't even tell Rusty why he hates him.
Well, it's evident to him.
Yeah.
It's like not even gonna dignify that with a response. Like this is what we do.
So 21 steps in and says, hey, we can't just stay in here and bicker. We need to come up with a plan. They're heavily armed. We can't get to our dart guns, because we're locked in the cell. However, I have an armory that we can get to. We are held directly below it, and he points up to a little vent cover in the ceiling, saying like, hey, we're just going to get through that. And it's like, wait a minute, you're going to do it? I love the throwaway line before they go on. Like, what is it? It's just Dr. Venture says, you're just too heavy.
Yeah, you cannot do it. Yeah. They get him in there. They lube him up to slide him through that thing with WD-40 that Rusty has. And the armory, that's like one of my favorite things, is it's full of early mid-2000s Hulk hand nerd replica type stuff.
Yeah.
Legally unactionable. There's like a poster of not Wolverine.
Yeah.
There's a not Captain America shield. This is very funny.
Yeah. They make reference to magic cards here because though they didn't play Magic the Gathering, they figured Gary would. And by mentioning Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast just sent them a bunch of cards. Like they have more cards than they know what to do with, which is cool. My favorite bit about this is 24 picks up a sword. It's a replica sword from Lord of the Rings. And Gary is insistent, like, no, you can't take it out of the box. Use it in the box because it's mint. So he goes into battle wielding this boxed sword.
A box sword. Them all charging out to battle is very funny when that happens.
Why are Hulk hands so funny? It's the final scene
of the episode.
Like,
why are what?
Why are Hulk hands so funny? Like I laugh at them when they come up. Much. Yeah,
I had a lot of those around me.
Yeah,
when those came out, so one of my friends had them. My friend Austin really loved them. Got a pair. They're very funny.
Yeah,
just to have because you look just very normal. No other part of you has become hulked. you just have the Hulk hand, and then when you reach for something, it just goes smash. It's really good.
Yep.
Very, very funny.
Yeah.
So the Cocoon, Brock and Phantom Limb are actually taking over. Doing are the effective people here.
Yeah.
Brock loves that the guild net guns actually work. He's like, I never had one of these that didn't just get tangled up. And they're showing their mutual respect.
Yeah. Brock is even complimenting Limb on his killer hand thing. His actual superpowers. Which are rare in this universe, right? There are only 2 henchmen left, and they decide to do shtick, basically. Lim says, hey, play along with this. Lim flops himself on the ground and pretends that he's had his arms and legs ripped off.
In a very dramatic way.
Yeah.
I've been torn asunder. And Brock comes up and is like, please, put him out of his misery. Oh, you won't do it. Do I have to do it? Give me the guns. So they disarm the guys.
Yeah.
And take them out there. Lim grabbing one of their ankles and zapping him, and Brock sticking the hand of one of them up his own ass.
Yeah. Which
is kind of a Brock standard.
Yeah. Lim admires it, admires the audacity of it.
Yes.
Brock is standing there and he thinks, wait a minute, I recognize that. What's that noise that I hear?
That's my car.
That's my car. That's my car's engine. And it's like moments before the Dodge Charger plows through the wall of the Cocoon with Dr. Girlfriend and the boys inside of it. Brock is distraught because, as we saw last episode, he just finally got it back into working condition after Helper drove it through the window of the
lab. So 21 is teaching Rusty, he's like, what are these tarot cards? Am I going to tell their fortune? And he's like, no, they're magic cards. Just throw them. You get a corner in one of those eyes. It's really going to hurt.
Which is well observed because magic cards used to have those sharp corners.
They did used to have those sharp corners.
Yeah.
They rounded them. They also there were magic cards that you're supposed to throw to use, or like drop and throw.
Really?
So this is great. You at least drop, not throw. There's like meteors and stuff.
Oh, weird.
Chaos orb. So they all get, Rusty has a Magneto helmet. Monarch has his Hulk hands. 24 has the box sword. And the episode ends with them charging out into the door to try to fight. But unfortunately, Brock and Phantom Limb are there.
Yeah, they just, Brock and Phantom Limb think that they're finding more henchmen. And they think that they're going to go into make this valiant defense of the cocoon. It turns into this painted freeze frame that is directly a parody of the ending of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah. We get our credits. The Monarch is very brutalized, and Phantom Limb is about to finish him off. Dr. Girlfriend begs him not to. He says the only thing he did was succumb to my charms. His only crime was just wanting me. Phantom Limb spares him, and Brock makes a crack about looking for scars makes a crack about her charms, basically.
Yeah.
Really pushing the she used to be a man thing.
Yeah.
Which, she didn't used to be a man. It's not transphobic. It's just kind of shitty.
It's saying that it would be bad and saying that Phantom Limb would be bad for being with somebody who putatively would have been like that. So it's still really it's
transphobic. It's also, but it's not like she transitioned.
Yeah.
It's this weird thing where it's shitty.
Yeah.
But I understand in the mid 2000s why that didn't seem shitty.
Yeah.
We're living in Ace Ventura 2's,
fuck, that's so bad.
Or one, whichever one has the really transphobic ending.
Yeah, it's one. Ace Ventura 1. Ace Ventura 2 is blameless. That has him emerging.
It's a perfect movie, honestly.
It has him emerging from the fake rhinoceros's ass. Which is no, he made a rhinoceros robot. He overheated. He was all sweaty and he crawled out the back, making it look like a rhinoceros gave birth to a grown human man.
No, I remember.
Oh yeah,
it was great.
Okay,
I'm just joking. But Phantom Limb darts him and says, "What? I'm a villain." And it's like, well, you don't have to be a villain. Just quit fucking hammering that. Stop it.
Yeah, it was right. He was right to dart Brock.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
And that's Hate Floats.
That's Hate Floats.
Yeah.
A good show. A good episode of a good show.
Getting back to the cat and mouse, setting up kind of
cat
the
and
key.
also cat.
Sorry, that's yes. Getting back to the cat and also cat, setting up kind of the foregrounding of the Monarch. And the evolving relationship between him and Dr. Girlfriend it's the background for the finale, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to spend some time in the middle of this season not advancing things quite as much until we get to that finale. But still a very good season. It's kind of like one of the last seasons where it feels like there are episodes like Guess Who's Coming to State Dinner?
Yeah.
In it, not just episodes that are clunkers, because there are later clunkers as well, but clunkers that don't advance much. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate you. If all goes according to plan, next episode on Assassin Annie 911, we'll have our first guest of the season. And the episode after that, Escape to the House of Mummies, part 2 of 3, one of the best episodes of the show, or any show, I would argue, also is a guest episode.
Oh, nice. 2 in a row.
2 in a row. I don't think it will affect our skid.
Pray for me as I attempt to figure out how to structure the Escape from the House of Mummies episode.
That will be really tricky. Luckily, you'll have the help of Will Hughes.
I will.
Agent of Chaos. If you like the show, please head on over to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. $3 gives you early release and access to the Slack. $5 gives you a bunch of extra shows. $10 gives you a bunch of extra shows in addition to those extra shows.
Yeah. Thank you if you have supported us, and if you are considering it, we think it's worth it. We think that we've put enough value there, so give it a shot.
Yeah. You can also leave us a rating review on Apple Podcast. That would be very sweet. We appreciate that. And tell your friends.
Please do. Yeah.
I think that's about it.
I think so. So let's do the thing.
Until next time,
go Team Venture.